My name's Jean Noon. I was married to Colin Noon for 44 years. We had a fantastic life. We're both very, very big caravanners. Caravanning was our lives, and Colin was very, very much involved to the point where not only was he chairman of our own caravan club, which was part of, or is part of, the British Leyland Group, he was chairman over the whole lot. So to say that, you know, it governed our lives is an understatement, really. Sadly, I lost Colin very, very suddenly on the 11th of April. We'd been out in the caravan, he drove home, everything was normal, and all of a sudden he just said that he didn't feel very well. I said, shall I get a doctor? And he said, no, I'm fine. But there was alarm bells in the tone of his voice, and I dialed paramedics straight away. To all intents and purposes, I'd lost him within half an hour. He had a massive brain hemorrhage, which there was no way he could be salvaged. There would have just been too much brain damage. To say you're in shock is an understatement, really. You don't really know how you feel at the time. It's all unreal. You know what's happening, you know why it's happened, but it's like you live in a dream, and it takes quite a while for that dream to eventually become reality. When Colin passed away, we were escorted into the room with the consultant who'd been dealing with him, and we were asked about organ donation. There was no hesitation as far as I'm concerned. We hadn't actually discussed it at great length, but I knew that years ago he did carry a donor card, and also one of his relatives who died when he was in his 90s left his whole body for research, and my husband always had great admiration for that act. So I knew that by giving consent for his organs to be donated, it would have been what he wanted. How has it made me feel? As time's gone on and as news has filtered through that his heart, part of his heart, has been given to 4 very young children, babies in fact. Sadly, one's not quite made it, but the other 3 are doing really well. His eyes have given sight to 2 people who wouldn't have had sight. That makes me extremely, very, very proud. And to all intents and purposes, from my point of view, he lives on. That's the only way I can describe it. My husband lives on through others. He spent his whole life helping people, organising events in the caravan world. His whole life was dedicated to seeing people have a good time. He would help anybody, anywhere, to do anything. The pride and joy of his life was his children, and particularly his grandchildren. The sad part, he's not here now to see them grow up. Can I have a break a minute, please? Right, as I was saying, his life was his grandchildren. He absolutely adored them, and they adored him. They really did. They did everything together, even sort of building brick walls to building ponds and, you know, all sorts of things he used to get them involved with. Fortunately, they are in the caravan club as well with Mum and Dad. We, you know, we all go out together. When I first lost him, the first few weeks, I thought, that's it, that's my caravanning days over. But then I sat and thought about things, and I thought, Colin wouldn't want this. He'd worked all his life to build it up to what it was. he wouldn't want me just to sit back and sort of go into a hibernation, if you like. So I made the effort, and with the help of my daughter and my son-in-law, and I've got the most wonderful friends anyone could wish to have, I'm caravanning again. And in fact, the top table, as we call them, the main committee of the whole lot, which he was chairman of, are actually holding a memorial rally in his honour in June. And we're also making that a charity rally, and hopefully the loads of money that we hope to make is going to the Liver Foundation. The reason we chose that one is I have a personal friend whose daughter, when was a baby, had to have both liver and bone marrow transplant. And she's such an amazing girl now. She's 15, and she's such an amazing girl, and the family have been undescribably, to me, as friends. They're there for me, just like another daughter and son-in-law. They're wonderful people. So we thought, you know, my husband, again, he thought the world of Bexley. So we decided that we would use that foundation for the charity money to go to. We're hoping as well, and I'm not quite sure how we can go about this at the moment, but we do want to promote the organ registering. It is something that we are going to focus on. All I can say to anyone who loses a loved one, it's the hardest thing in life that can happen to anybody, particularly when it's your partner. It's hard enough when you lose your parents or any member of a family member or friend, but when it's your partner, it's entirely different. But I would say to anyone, please, please, sign up for the donor register. I know quite a lot of my friends have done so since we lost Colin, and I think really it's the most wonderful thing anybody can do. It's a gift of life. You've lost the person you love, but it gives other people who they love the chance of life. That's about all I can say on it, really. The one thing I didn't get round to doing was thanking the hospital staff. Their kindness, their concern, to someone really who was a complete stranger to them, was just unreal, absolutely unreal. It's hard to describe and put into words the feelings and emotions that they showed, let alone us. It was though they'd known him all their lives. And I just hope that my husband's name will live on. As long as I'm here, it will, and I know it will as long as my children are here. So, yeah, please, please, you know, pass on my thanks to all the hospital staff that was involved. Okay, thank you.